In this video, I'm going to explain to you how to very accurately predict crypto bottoms, and you can also use these same 5 indicators that I'm just about to show you to also predict future crypto tops. And this will also answer your question if crypto has actually bottomed at this point. And this will help you overall become a more intelligent crypto investor, so that way you can understand the market cycles a lot better. And these 5 indicators that I'm going to go through, a lot of people aren't really aware of them, so make sure you stick to the end to catch all 5 of these indicators, and putting them together will give you a really crystal clear idea if the market has bottomed or not. Hi, my name's Adam Winnig, and I've been involved and enthusiastic about cryptocurrencies since 2014. And what I'm going to share with you in this video is what I've learned from studying past market cycles, as well as being a participant in previous market cycles, and how to actually predict crypto market bottoms and tops with pretty good accuracy. And if you find this content helpful, then you'll also want to follow us on over at Blue Edge Crypto on Instagram. I post little videos, about a minute long videos every single day. If you want to be up to date with what's happening every single day, then make sure you give us a follow on Instagram. So let's go ahead and let's talk about the 5 different indicators that can help you predict crypto market bottoms and whether we have hit a bottom or not. The first one may be obvious, is something called the Crypto Fear and Greed Index. And as you know, the market is made up of human beings, and human beings make emotional decisions. And because of this, if we can get the overall sentiment of the market, right? There's 3 types of analysis. There's technical analysis, there's fundamental analysis, and then there's sentiment analysis. Looking at the Fear and Greed Index is looking at the overall sentiment, or how the market participants are feeling about the market. And you can use a really simple graph like this on alternative.me, and you can see that once we start to see people going from fearful down here at the bottom towards greedy, this is when we're likely to see a change in trend, meaning that we may have hit a bottom and we may be coming back out of that. Now, I'm not saying that for sure we've hit a bottom, but likely we have actually already hit a bottom. Doesn't mean that we won't revisit it, but likely we have. And the way that I want you to think about this is like this sheet that explains here. And I've talked about this several times on my channel, but the market goes through these emotional cycles. And if you just understand this one chart, you'll be a lot more successful investor. Understanding this one chart really helped me understand like where we're at in different market cycles. We go through these, periods of optimism and belief and thrill and euphoria where we think we're all going to get rich and we're all geniuses, to this point of anxiety and denial and panic and capitulation, which is where people are forced sellers, which we saw happen with a lot of centralized funds like BlockFi, Voyager, Celsius, Three Arrows Capital. We saw the Luna and Terra situation. So a lot of forced sellers that happen in the market. And this is when people get angry and depressed. And this is when the market actually bottoms. And I believe that we've already hit that capitulation stage. So just understanding where we're at in this emotional cycle, and you can check your own emotions too of where you're feeling. And this is likely where we're at in the market cycle. So when you're really fearful and you're really scared and people are talking, is crypto ever going to be around? Or is this just all a sham? Is this regulators going to come and, mess up all of crypto? And this is the time when we really want to be stacking chips, right? So the first indicator is the Crypto Fear and Greed Index. And you can also just see this because people will start talking about crypto that have never talked about crypto or shouldn't be talking about crypto, or that you think would never talk about crypto. This is also a time when we're in like this euphoria stage. So you can use this both ways. Now, the second one that we're going to analyze is with technical analysis. And the second way is simply by looking at a pair of moving averages, okay? On my chart here, I put the 20 in blue and I put the 50 moving average here in orange. And as you can see here, it looks like we've had a cross right here, which means that there's a potential change of trend that's actually happening. Now, another confirmation that I can see that a trend may have changed is because we're starting to see classic trend change behaviors of higher highs and higher lows, higher highs, higher lows, higher highs, higher lows, higher highs, higher lows, right? So this is classic behavior of a trend reversal sort of pattern. Now, the third way that we can take a look at this is involving another technical indicator. It's something called an oscillator. And in this case, we're using the RSI if you're unfamiliar. But basically what this does is it oscillates between 0 and 100. When you get closer to 100 or you break like 70, this is when the market is overbought. And when you go below 30, this is when the market is oversold. And so this is a very simplified indicator. This is by no means the only thing that you should look at to determine where we're at in a market phase. But when you see that it gets really, really oversold, this is likely a chance where there is a good buying opportunity and we may catch some relief rally, or this could have actually indicated the bottom. And if you take a look back here in history, if we take a look here at the very bottom, which was, back in November of 2018 of last cycle, when we really got oversold down into like this 10 area, this was the bottom of the crypto market. Now, also, if you take a look during the COVID crash that happened, this was March of 2020, we see that we got really oversold down to like the 15 area. And you can see here that we got down to like the 20 area here, 19 area maybe. And so this is another signal. Again, it's not the only signal. You need to use multiple of these signals in conjunction, and it's best to use the different types of analysis, technical, fundamental, as well as sentiment analysis. So the other things that we're going to look at are on-chain metrics. And this is one of the beauties that we have in cryptocurrencies, is being able to see this sort of information up close. So the first thing that we'll look at is something called the net unrealized profit and loss. And to give you an idea, basically the way that this chart works is if we're in kind of this green area and we're greater than 0, this means that holders, as a general consensus, are actually in profit. Okay. And if holders are below, or if we're below 0, then holders are in a loss. And in order for a market cycle to turn over, we've seen that the general or the mass of Bitcoin holders actually need to be in a net loss. And we can see here that the NUPL, or the net unrealized profit loss, was actually negative, meaning that the majority of Bitcoin holders were actually in a net loss. And this allows us to kind of turn over in the market cycle. I guess this was the number 4 metric. I'll give you a little bonus one. Another one that you can take a look at is something called the pull multiple. And if I take a look here on the chart, we can pull this up as well. And historically, once we get into like this range where you see like this green box down here, this is generally a sign that we have also bottomed. As you can see back here as well, it looked like we hit a bottom here, and this chart is not showing enough data. But if you take a look at the pull multiple, when it gets really oversold, like kind of in this area, this is also another indicator that we may have reached a bottom. Now, the last indicator that I like to use is a logarithmic indicator, okay? And this is basically used to track the mass adoption of a technology. And Bitcoin and cryptocurrencies are a technology, and they're being adopted like a technology, just like how the internet was adopted, how email was adopted, how social media was adopted. They went on this massive adoption curve, and it went on this logarithmic curve. And so this is a rainbow chart, which is basically a really simple way to tell if we're where we're at. And if you just take a look here, we can see that we went all the way down into this like dark blue, and currently kind of in this blue area that says buy. And we were in this dark blue area that says fire sale not too long ago. We just kind of brazed into that. And so this is a 5th indicator that you can use to help predict crypto market bottoms as well as market tops. As you can see, we got, kind of frothy where it said sell, seriously sell. So anyways, hopefully this video is helpful. If it was, then please like, subscribe, turn on the post notifications so you don't miss future videos, and feel free to check out some of the other helpful videos on our channel.